Hello, hello. How you guys doing? So, welcome to my first ever agent office hours for Northwest Indiana real estate investing. I'm trying something new. I hope you guys can hear me. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Let's double check. Yeah, no, you guys should be able to hear me. But trying something new here. We're trying to do this live stream. I want to do some just educational things, some things I know about what's going on in Northwest Indiana, and maybe we'll scour on some information and see what we can find. So yeah, I mean that's essentially why I wanted to do this because I went to college for a little bit, and one thing I really loved was the office hours that the teachers would have. Right, I always thought it was awesome to be able to go and I know it's not during class. Let me go ask questions. So feel free, guys, if you ever want to ask a question about real estate in general, about real estate investing, about Northwest Indiana. I'd love to talk more details. Hey, give me something good to talk about. I'll research it. We'll do it together. But yeah, so most of my time in Northwest Indiana as a real estate agent is spent over in Gary, Indiana, mainly because first of all, Indiana is like one of the most prime markets to invest. It's in the Midwest. You got flatlands, you got tons of available land and space that's undeveloped. Then you got areas like Northwest Indiana and Gary, Indiana, where you can buy a property for $40,000 and rent it out for $1,200. That might be a bit dramatic, but that's the honest truth, right? I mean, there are deals that are insane. I just helped one of my guys the other day, or one of my team members the other day, close on a property for $61,000. I mean, and we're estimating, hopefully, that 2-bedroom with the new market rents that just went up to be about $1,500 a month. I mean, off of 60 grand. That's crazy. So I mean, there's tons of opportunity all over the place. And so what is going on in the community? One thing I pulled up here for you guys is a comprehensive plan, and I'm going to see if it'll let me show my screen here. Let's see here. Still trying to figure this out, but we're going to figure it out. Alrighty, here we go. Sweet. All right, so check this out. This is Gary's comprehensive plan. I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't even went through this. Is it showing me at all? Probably not. Probably just showing this. Oh, yeah, it might be showing me in the corner. All right, so check it out. Gary's comprehensive plan right here. What's going on? I mean, this is the first time I'm going through it, so we're going to go through this together. This is the most recent one I could find. Really, in 2019, this is when, a slew of different plans had came together. I have different chunks, and if you're part of my group, man, definitely come join the Estate Squared Away community, and we can talk more about Estate Squared Away in a bit. Organization that I built, and join the community. We have a WhatsApp and we have a Discord that is full of information. We're going to try and start doing some monthly meetings and just being interactive, man. So Gary, let's get to Gary's comprehensive plan. What's the plan here? To unify, to have a unified vision. Of course, I mean, Gary's went through so much hardship, and for those of you that don't know, the main hit that happened was back in 1970. So Northwest Indiana is known as the steel area. I mean, and everything I want to say along Michigan, Michigan City and the Great Lakes, Lake Michigan and the Great Lakes is pretty much known for industrial. Mills and stuff. I mean, if you can envision like 8 Mile, that's pretty much how our border to the mills and industry is always like. But over where I'm from in Northwest Indiana, and especially Gary, Indiana, they had a massive company called U.S. Steel Mill, or the U.S. Steel. And this company at one point, I mean, they had over 30,000 employees. I want to say close to 37,000 employees. And Gary, Indiana used to have over 200,000 people living in there at one point. I mean, that is insane. It's massive. They used to call it the Magic City. It was beautiful. It had beautiful architecture and took such a massive hit. I mean, in 1970, the U.S. Steel Mill closed down. About 30,000, a little less than 30,000 jobs were lost. Totally destroying the economy of Gary, Indiana. I mean, you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars in tax revenue for the city taken away. What starts to happen? How do you pay for police? How do you pay for school? How do you pay for the workers in the government? Now everything started just tearing apart over time. We look at Gary, Indiana now, and over 20% of all the properties are abandoned in Gary. It's insane. So, speaking of which, a state squared away was created to be able to get investors to look into low economic areas like this and help them through government assisted programs like Section 8, But let's talk back to this comprehensive plan here. And let me double check that anybody's asking questions. Oh, shit. Okay. Excuse my language. So, obviously they want to revitalize it, right? What are the big goals? To consolidate to a single document. That's the great start, right? Regulatory framework, blueprint for investment. So obviously there's a bunch of opportunities for people that are already in the community and the people that want to look into the community to be able to invest. If you guys are ever interested, I'm telling you, join my community for a state squared away. We have a community Discord and a WhatsApp. So definitely come join us. If you're interested, shoot me a message. Or, of course, I'm going to add that into the description probably afterwards. So, think that far ahead, but we're going to figure this out as time goes on. All right. So it looks like 3 key phases: data collection, city-led public meetings, and then production. So, of course, they're trying to run their surveys, trying to figure out where the weak points are. I mean, so we're already seeing, they have a rough estimate. At least the government in Indiana has a rough estimate for what are the damaged places, what are the places that need the most help. Because we see it on the housing authority, on their fair market rents. This year, and I'll pull it up. I can pull it up here in a bit, but you'll see that in 46409 area, right? And I'm talking about one of the zip codes. One of the the worst zip codes at one point is getting a tremendous amount of funding for these monthly rents in the housing authority. I mean, a 3-bedroom in the 46409 area, which, we'll talk about. I'm sure they have a map of Gary here. Essentially, everything on the eastern side of Gary are state streets, and everything on the lower eastern side is going to be closer to that community of the 46409 area, which at one point was a horrible area. But because there's so many incentives to invest, it's been looking tremendous. I mean, properties are selling over $100,000 where they used to sell on the east side for $40,000 to $80,000. I mean, turnkey too. You imagine picking up a $40,000 property turnkey. That's happening, But it's changing. As time goes on, they're going to be developing. It's going to be getting better. And this must be the 3 plans that they are trying to consolidate here, right? Gary Space Time Analysis Data System, an analytic data system, GSTAG. Oh, what's this? Okay. Data analysis. There's nothing on here. What is there? Am I just not understanding this? Okay. All right, moving on. Data analysis. Okay. Here we go. Arrow. Okay. Okay. We're talking about a property on Van Buren. Van Buren is also an area that's, pretty beat up, but, it looks like they're giving some attention to it. I don't really understand what's going on. They're like slides, but like pages. There's not too many details. Okay, it's going deeper into Van Buren. Just talking about specifics behind it. It looks like, phase 1, data analysis, right? So I guess they're focusing in on a, tore up area that, seeing what's going on with it. Citizen Advisory Committee. Let's see here. So I imagine that these are different groups within the city that, advocate for, obviously, advancement and redevelopment and stuff. Let's see. Hey, we're looking at this at the same time. So, beg my pardon, All right. Neighborhood workshops. This winter, the city team lead neighborhood workshops covering 14 different sub areas of the city. We shared what we learned from data collection. We looked at maps and discussed unique characteristics of each neighborhood with residents. Aha, what's going on here? So, um, very, very good question. So this must be, Bushwick or Fifth Avenue. Yep, Fifth Avenue. I had a laundromat I had listed over there. It was pretty crazy. I've never seen this is a crazy story. So I had a laundromat right on this property that was listed. They ransacked this place so bad that they even took like the copper out of the ceilings, like the pipes in the ceilings and stuff. Like I'm like trying so hard not to cuss, so my bad. But yeah, I mean it's unbelievable, like as how much damage some of these areas are taking. And why is that? Why, like, I did a little bit of studying on the poverty paradigm and why this can happen, and ultimately it comes back to lack of resources. But how do you level the playing field? Obviously the only way that's been proven is a universal basis, but that's not necessarily the best idea. So there's still a struggle to figure out how to level the playing field for everyone. Obviously, I know now, as the older I get, I understand different perspectives, and I understand now that having no money in an area that has a lack of resources forces you into certain directions, and um, the repercussions are built around fines and bonds on jail time and different things like that. And those are money related things, which is already a restriction on that area. So it's, the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. It's definitely a difficult system. So let's see. All right. So population. Okay. Okay. So there is a -2 or less population. Is that what I'm understanding here since 2016 in these areas? Okay. Well, if you have a prospecting system, there's some stuff to check out. And then obviously the green are the areas that are more populated than the others. Tax delinquency change. So crazy thing. Tax sales over in Gary, Indiana. I mean, I shouldn't just say Gary, Indiana. I should say Lake County, because that's how they go by. They go by the county. There's 2 of them that happen each year. One called the treasurer's sale, one called the commissioner's sale. The treasurer's one happens around November to, not November, September, I would say. And that one is regarding properties that have just hit the tax sale, right? Are in a position where they owe $10, $12, $14,000 in back taxes, and they get put up onto their that list. And essentially you can go in and bid on paying the taxes off as an investor. You pay the taxes off. Tax sales are cool like this. Like you pay the taxes off, they end up paying the taxes back as the landowner, the current landowner. Then you get your money back with a 10% incentive. So you spend 10 grand on a tax sale property that's beautiful. You have the chance of getting it, or you have the chance of getting your 10,000 back and getting an extra grand. So pretty cool. Anyways, let's get back to this. Oh, also, the amount of properties in Lake County are ridiculous on the tax sale. The commissioner's sale has over 12,000 properties right now. I mean, I downloaded the list and it damn near busted my computer. I like could not believe how many spreadsheets were on there. But yeah, and I mean, 100 people are signing up for it, 125, and the commissioner's sale, the bids start at $500 a piece. If you really wanted to, you could go into these programs and buy up a slew of properties and then just clear the titles and resell them, So, I mean, I'm seeing people do that. So city-owned properties. Okay. Well, I definitely understand that there was an act that Gary was trying to pass where they were essentially, they call it the Churners Act, where they're essentially trying to stop from too many properties on the tax sale continuously cycling. So the goal of this act, and I don't know if it passed or not, I have to look up, but the goal of this is to essentially, after 2 times on the commissioner's sale of not selling, it's going to go into ownership of the city. Now the city can sell it off, or they can do whatever they want to it, which is great. I mean, you're giving an opportunity to the city to be able to grow their funds or to take control, but at the same time, that's going to end up making it even more competitive. Because yeah, at first, say you first pass this bill, at first it's not going to bother everyone. Anyway, 5 years down the line, there might not be nowhere near as many properties on the tax sale. Now, instead of over 12,000 on the list, you might have a couple thousand, and now you have a few hundred investors that are investing in Lake County. It's a lot more competitive. But hey, I guess it's better than those properties just sitting there. So, all right. Let's see here. I really think, how do I I'm still trying to figure out how to do this live stream. I assume that you guys can see me. Let's see here. Can you guys see me? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So if I go on to another, I'm like trying my best to understand this. All right. Yeah. And that was me looking at the YouTube. Oh, by the way, speaking of the YouTube video, I got to show you the, what's it called? The property I did in the second episode of my vlog, which I got to start doing those again. Apologize, guys. But second property, first property on the second episode of the vlog. I walk in, there's a bunch of framework getting done on the interior. I got the house pictures updated. It's looking brand new. It looks tremendous. And the guy's planning on possibly selling. So if you guys are interested, we'll talk more about that. It'd be a great opportunity. So, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but it looks like we're almost done. So group discussion, these were the main questions. What do you love about your neighborhood? Okay, what are the 3 biggest opportunities you see in your neighborhood? And what's your vision? This must be questions they ask to the public, right? Let's see here. There's that list again. I assume this is slightly different, but I don't see the difference yet. Probably would help if I read it. Okay, so bringing it all back home, adapted. I guess this is saying that we need to adapt to Gary in 2019 and beyond, making room for a wide range of uses in these neighborhoods. Residents are worried about Gary's size, making it hard to maintain. And that's funny that they say that because before 1970, Gary was even bigger than the current municipality because all the surrounding towns were technically part of Gary. When everything went down, all of them started, creating their own, divisions, right? So, for example, Lake Station. Lake Station's technically East Gary, but it's its own municipality now. Real tiny town, but it's its own town, because they don't want to be associated to the, I don't want to say the stigma, but they don't want to necessarily be falling within the picture, and hey, to each their own. If they feel like that helps or hurts them, it's to each their own. But okay, so residents worry about the Gary size. See, and name blight was one of the concerns voiced by the neighborhood workshops. Name blight. What does blight mean? Okay, searching up blight. Okay. Come on, you got this. Blight. Blight. Okay. It's definitely not a plant. Let's see here. A thing that spoils or damages something. Okay, maybe that's the concept we're going at here. Namely blight. Okay. Okay. I think I get it. It's like kind of like the not so good image is essentially what they're saying. Bringing it all home. I mean, unfortunately, it's true. I mean, like I've been all over the country and actually overseas, when I was in the military, and everybody knows where Gary is. Gary, Indiana is famous, like worldwide famous. It's crazy. I mean, I guess it is too, because like what, Michael Jackson came from there. It's kind of exciting. You're right next to this person, and I have big dreams, on my own. And so, to see Michael Jackson come from there and become what he is, like, how is that not inspiring? So, all right. So where are we at here? Community anchors like IUN. Oh yeah, it's talking about the major landmarks. Not enough land designated for employment. Well, I mean, that's tough to say because it's like, is there not enough land that's designated for employment, or is there too many commercial abandoned buildings that don't have businesses? You know what I mean? I mean, it's, how do you bring businesses back to the city? First, I mean, you want to make it, you want to add to the population and you want to make it safe, right? But I think more so than that, I think that the reason that people have a hard time bringing businesses to the city is because, well, safety and danger and lack of resources for other people. How do you solve that? In my opinion, I think it starts with helping the government. I think the fact that they can't, it was so crazy because I heard about it like leaking in one of their courthouses, rainwater. One day, like it was like raining and they're trying to do these hearings and they're having rain issues. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily true or not, but if that's really happening, and the own government can't take care of the buildings. I mean, I know they have redevelopment plans, so that's good. But if that's the situation, man, understandably why people don't necessarily want to bring in their own businesses. I think that's where it starts from. Clean up the sidewalks, clean up the roads, make these, areas within the little, towns, I guess you could say, or the main roads, cleaner. Bring it, I think overall that's going to be the main gist. But who knows? I'm no economist. I don't really understand how, cities like this become. I know how to help a little bit, by getting people to invest. So phase 3, the plan. Let's see here. Flexibility, vacant land, building on success. And how do I get the chat? I don't know if somebody's going to message in the chat at all, but I wish there was a way to make this go with me. No? Pop out chat? Is that what I'm looking for? Pop out chat? Can you guys see this? Yeah. Aha! Okay. That's what I'm talking about. All right, guys. So if you want to, obviously ask me a question or anything, let me know here. Okay, that's not working the way that I envisioned.